Today what I'm going to show you is 4 operations with decimals. These are the 4 sums that I'm going to show you. An addition, a subtraction, a multiplication and a division. So as you can see, this first addition, everything's written out across the page. When we do addition, what we need to do is we need to write our question down the page so that our decimal points are one under the other. So if I write out the sum, this is what my sum should look like. So you'll see here that the decimal points are all under one another, that the units are all under one another, that the tens, the hundreds, but also on the other side I've got my tenths, I've got my hundredths, and I've got my thousandths. Now, we start from the right just like we would normally. Now, where there's no number filling a space, just like we would on this side, over this side we can put a 0 here, and a 0 here, and a 0 here. They're just place value holders, because they have no effect on the sum. So then we just add them down like we would normally. 0 plus 9 plus 0 is 9. 7 plus 5 plus 0 is 12. Carry the 1. 9 plus 6 plus 1 is 16. We carry the 1. Now you'll notice here that I've carried that 1 straight over the decimal point. So our decimal point in our answer goes straight under our question. So 9 plus 3 plus 3 plus the 1 that I carried over is another 16. Carry the 1. There's no 0 here, but we know that we don't need to worry about that. 2 plus 1 is 3, and the 1 from here. So there's my answer. The most important thing is just to make sure that when you write it out, your decimals are under each other, and that each line of units is under each other. Now, for our subtraction sum, we do exactly the same. We write it out with the decimal point straight under each other, and the lines of units straight under each other. So our tenths are under each other, and our hundredths are under each other. Now in this case there's no hundredths here, so I can put a 0 as a placeholder. And we just do the subtraction like we would normally, and our decimal is going to be under the other. So the 6 from 0 doesn't go, so I just regroup from here. 6 from 10 is 4. 8 from 6 doesn't go, so I can regroup from here. It doesn't matter that there's a decimal point in between, we still regroup the same way. 8 from 16 is 8, 2 from 8 is 6, and there's my answer. Okay, so there's addition and subtraction. Now our multiplication sum, it doesn't actually matter if we put our decimal points under each other, because we will deal with the position of the decimal point in the answer at the end. So right now we'll write it out like we would normally, and make sure that your decimal points are clear. So 6 times 3 is 18, carry the 1, 6 times 1 is 6, plus 1 is 7, 6 times 4 is 24. Then because we're moving into the next row, we put a 0 here as our placeholder. 9 times 3 is 27, carry the 2. 9 times 1, 9 plus 2 is 11, carry the 1. 9 times 4 is 26, plus 1 is 37. You'll see here in my answer, I've lined up everything one under the other. We add it up like we would normally. 7 plus 7 is 14, carry the 1, is 6, is 9, is 3. So now we've got a number that resembles what we would expect like an answer, but we haven't got a decimal point in it. So what I do, I go back up to my question and I see how many numbers are after the decimal point. So here's my decimal point, and there's a 6, and here's a decimal point, and a 1, and a 3. So there's 3 numbers after the decimal point. So in my answer I have to have 3 numbers after my decimal point. So 39.648. We can check that because 9 times 4 is 36, and this is going to make it a little bit bigger than 36. So 39.648. So that's our multiplication. Now division can be a little bit tricky. So if I have the sum 25.47 divided by 0.3, that's how we would write it out. Now it's a bit tricky because this is a decimal and we have to deal with the decimals. So like fractions, what we do to the top we can also do to the bottom, and we can do the same here. So to make this a whole number, we can multiply that by 10. If we do it here, we can multiply that by 10 here. So 0.3 multiplied by 10 gives us 3, and 25.47 times 10 gives me 254.7. So then we just do our division just like normal. 3 into 2 doesn't go, so 3 into 25 goes 8 times with 1 left over. 3 into 14 goes 4 times with 2 left over. 3 into 27 goes 9 times. Now in this one we need to make sure that our decimal point in the answer is above the decimal point in the question. So that's the answer to this question. Alright, I hope that helps you.